So welcome back to a brand new podcast episode of Family Seasons by Coach Teia. I'm so glad that you're here, that you are continuing to tune in, to listen and subscribe, and to, you all have been following, and, indeed the podcast has been growing, definitely reaching just throughout the entire world. And so I am forever grateful for, the commitment of those who are tuning in and sharing it with their friends and families. And I'm just grateful for that. As always, I want to bring you a topic that I hope and pray will be a blessing to you, as as it is in my own life. I always want to make sure that I'm sharing things that are not only helpful for me, but also for people that I believe that are listening. Each time I bring on a guest, it's always someone that I am praying will will leave an impact on your life, that will truly make, some type of inspiration to something that you're going through, maybe something very similar. But nevertheless, let's get right on into our podcast. And so, as I said, welcome back. This is a Sunday vibe, so that means, it won't be, as long as the usual podcast, but most definitely I wanted to come and to share something that, a topic that I've heard, just in these past few weeks or so, something that's been very important. There's a lot of things going on in our world. There's a lot of things happening in our world. And so it is so important that we get to a place of making sure we're living in our purpose. And I've kind of been talking about that just throughout this season 6 of living in your purpose, making sure that you are, that you're doing okay, that you are showing up for your life. And so, of course, today I'm just going to continue that conversation. And in this particular conversation, which we're going to talk about saying yes to your life. What does that mean, to say yes to your life? When you say yes to your life, does that mean, exactly what does that mean? What does it mean to say yes to you, yes to your life, yes to your whole purpose and your whole being? What exactly does that mean? When you decide to say yes to your life, that means that you are showing up for the most part on a daily basis. And I say for the most part because honestly, there will be days when you don't want to show up. There are days that you don't want to adult. There are days when we just don't want to, do what we're supposed to be doing or doing what we know we need to do. But for the most part, 95% of the time we are showing up for our life. We are doing what we need to do. We're doing what we're called to do. We are, waking up in the morning. We are destined and determined to walk in our purpose. We are meeting people and we're helping people and we're doing things that we know we have been called to do. We're showing up for our life. We're taking care of our lives. We're taking care of our families. We're trying to take care of our bodies. We're trying to take care of our mental health. Our spiritual growth is important. This is what we say. This is what, when we talk about showing up for your life, these are the things that we're talking about. How are you showing up for your life? How are you saying yes to your life? When you say yes to your life, that means that you will no longer allow, negativity to rule in your space. You will no longer allow, people that will not support you. You won't allow them to stay in your space or to, I would say, to overcome or overtake your space. Instead, you are showing up and you're saying yes to your life. And that means that everybody may not understand you. Everyone may not be on board with what you're doing. But nevertheless, that's because you have decided to make yourself a priority. And when you do that, as I said, that doesn't mean that everyone will understand, but you do have to make sure that everyone is respecting that and make sure that people respect that. Okay, this is what I need in my life. This is what I have to do in order to, create that happiness that I talked about a couple of weeks ago. And if you missed that happiness podcast, go back in there and look. And I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I think it was it was season 6, episode 4, I believe. But, when I talk about creating happiness, that you're responsible for your own happiness. And so once again, we're saying, say yes to your life. And that means you're making yourself a priority. When you say yes to your life, a lot of times fear is one of the first things that will show up. It happens to all of us. I don't care who you are. I don't care how strong you are and how awesome and amazing you are. I've heard that some of the most talented performers, before they walk on stage, they have butterflies. Before, they hit record, they are so afraid. Fear is just it's a natural thing. But, God still wants us to walk through it. He wants us to walk past it. And so you're going to do it afraid. You're going to say yes to your life. Even when it gets hard, you're going to do it afraid. And when you're saying doing it afraid, what does that mean? That means that you're going to say, okay, I know that I have these butterflies or I have a lot of uncertainties, but I prefer to walk forward as opposed to remaining stagnant or going backwards. I have to do it afraid. And trust me, a lot of times once we do it, when we look back and we realize, oh, it was not as bad as we thought, or not as bad as, of course, the enemy made us think that it would be. So we do it afraid. One of the other things is that I heard, I believe that was Les Brown say, fail your way to success. And so what does that mean? That means that you're not going to get it right all the time. You may get an idea, or you may have something you say, okay, I'm showing up for my life. I'm saying yes to my life. And so I have this idea. Does that mean that it's going to work out perfectly? What if it fails? Great. That means that you are on the road of doing something. That means that you are in the process of making things happen. So will you fail? Of course you will fail. Every person that I have known or have seen or have heard their story that we would call, quote unquote, a success, they talk about the failures. They talk about how, the rejections that they had, how they had to deal with, people constantly, not believing in them, or constantly, trying to get them to, maybe to not move forward in their dream or whatever it was that they were supposed to be doing. So you have to, fail your way to success, because if you keep going, you'll learn two things. You'll learn what you should be doing, and then you'll also learn what you should not keep doing. And so either way, you win, but fail your way to success. The third thing I would say is to try again. Every day of our lives, we get new grace and new mercy. So that means that we get to show up for our lives another day. When you are awakened in the morning, you're grateful because why God saw in his might to wake you up, and that means that he still has a plan for your life. And nothing, honors God more than for you to decide that you're going to say yes to your life. And so when you say yes to your life, that means that you're going to have some times or some days when you completely feel like it was a total fail and you don't want to do it anymore. But guess what? Try again. Keep trying, keep going, keep failing, keep on trying, because as the lessons that you're learning are immeasurable. You're going to learn some lessons that you could not pay for. You're going to learn some things and find out better ways of doing it. Why? Because you kept going. You kept trying. So try it again. It didn't work out last year. Okay, well, maybe this is the right time for it. Well, maybe you tried it 5 years ago, but then try it again. Maybe it didn't work out yesterday. Maybe you didn't get the acceptance, or maybe you didn't get the approval. Try it again. No matter what in our lives, we have to keep going. And it's not that it comes so easy for everyone. And I tend to be a pretty optimistic person, but I still reach those lows in life where I don't want to try it again. I don't want to do it again. I'm ready to call it quits. But then that next day, I'm renewed and I'm ready to try it again, and I'm ready to keep showing up. And so, just try it again. And then I would say finally is to commit to the process. This is not going to be an easy process. Living this life is not going to be easy. Having anything good and anything that's worthwhile is not going to come easy, but it will be worth it. It will be worth it in the end. I know when you're having a baby, when you're pregnant, and it is a challenging time. Those are 9 months that tend to be, for some moms, for some women, it can be some of the most, I would say uncomfortable seasons of your life. But it's when you're committed to it, you're committed to the process. When I was pregnant with my daughters, I was committed to being pregnant, and that meant that I was going to do whatever I needed to do in order to make sure that on my end that I was going to deliver, healthy, beautiful baby girls. And I was able to do that, thank God. But the bottom line is that you have to commit to the process. So whatever it is, maybe it's not having a baby, maybe it's, working out, and that's something that I'm working on in my own life, working out on a regular basis, getting healthier. Maybe it's starting a new business. Maybe it's, learning a new hobby. Maybe it's reading more. Maybe it's spending more quality time with your family. Whatever it might be, just commit to the process. When we decide to commit, then we add a whole new dimension of our life, because we're now so focused on the outcome. We know that if we get committed to this thing, the outcome will be worth it all. Once again, you make a decision that you're going to say yes to your life. You're going to do it afraid. You're going to fail your way to success. How many times do you have to start over? As often as you need to. How many times do you need to show up on a regular basis? Try it again. What if it didn't work? Well, try it again. What if it didn't happen, like I thought it was going to happen? Or what if it didn't work out like I thought it was going to work out? Try it again. Maybe this is a better season for it, because the Bible tells us that there is a time and a season for all things. So maybe back then was not the right time. Maybe now is. But try it again. And the final thing is to commit to the process. As I said, when you decide to get committed, when you make the agreement that you are going to continue this fight, no matter how hard, how treacherous it might get, commit to the process. You will feel like a winner when you finally get that thing accomplished. When you're going to school, I can think about when I was in grad school and how it would get so hard and so challenging. And, sometimes it was just, I'm like, oh goodness, can I do this thing? I had to get committed to the process. In the end, I could look back and say, wow, I'm glad that I did not quit. But in the meantime, during that process, it was difficult. But my commitment to it, or your commitment to that thing, if you're committed to going back to school and getting your degree, commit to it. And that means that you're going to have to make that thing work no matter what it takes. Why? Because you have committed to the process. And that's all because you have decided to say yes to your life. When you decide to say yes to your life, you take back your power. You begin to walk in authority. You don't have to get the outside approval, but you know that without a shadow of a doubt, you are now a priority in your life. You have decided to show up for you. And when you decide to show up for you, everything around you will be blessed. Your family, your children, I don't care what it is, your workspace, everything will be blessed because why? You are now showing up for you and you are working at your full potential. Say yes to your life. If you're still listening to this podcast, that means that you still have purpose. God still has a plan. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how hard it gets. Say yes to your life and you will see your life begin to change. You will begin to see things happening that maybe, you've been praying about them for so long. And now here's the time. Now they're coming into fruition. No matter what, say yes to your life. This is Coach Teia. I'm so glad that I have been able to share these nuggets with you. I pray that they have been a blessing to you just as I take these and I use them in my daily life. Why? Because we're getting better. We're improving our lives. Every day we get a new opportunity to do it over again. If we messed up yesterday, now here we are on a new day and we get a chance to do it again. So thank you so much. You can reach me at CoachTeia.com. Also, you can email me at info@CoachTeia.com. And just continue to share, subscribe. I'm excited about continuing season 6. We have, there are a lot of great, I'm going to have some more guests on so we can talk about some really great topics and just bring things that I hope will be a blessing to you and your families. I continue to pray for you, and I pray right now, dear God, that you just touch and heal those that are listening right now. Father, those that are wondering, maybe they're weary, maybe they don't know how to get started, maybe they don't know how to take that first step to say yes. But I pray right now, God, that they will hear your still small voice and that they will begin to move and that they will begin to take baby steps as long as they're moving forward. God, I just thank you right now that you would continue to bless these families, that you would heal and restore families, that you would renew families. I thank you, God, for the authority. I thank you for allowing us to just be able to come together and to be able to share wisdom and inspiration so that we can all be blessed, so that we can all live the life that you have committed for us to live. We thank you, to God. I pray that you would continue to bless these families, continue to bless our listeners, and we look forward to just continue to bring important information each podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, reach out to CoachTeia.com. I'm excited about the next podcast that we'll be bringing. In the meantime, subscribe, share, and like. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, FamilySeasonsPodcast.com. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.